Guys, we're starting early. Welcome to the Ordeals of Livistio. I'm your host, John Dungeon Master, here to show you a scenic tree valley, apparently. Excuse me, I didn't have my camera placement right. Guys, it's been one whole week. How's your week's been? In no particular order. We have all the time in the world before we start. A whole 2 minutes.
You know, John, my week's been going pretty good. Second week of college, that's decent. Cut the insides of my lips so it's painful to talk and eat.
Anything
As he
else you wanna
both talks
share?
and eats.
I can't eat without living, okay? It's a necessity part of life.
I also cannot eat without living. That is a fact.
A zombie problem for you guys.
This is where we learn John is canonically a zombie.
You don't know my dog packs with the undead. Greg, how was your week?
It was alright, it was good, lots of work. Lots more work coming up. I'm tired. Had a really long session on Friday night, and I have not caught up on sleep since then.
What did they do to you on Friday night, Corin?
They just kept rolling encounters and leaving a wake of blood across my map.
Jesus.
Yeah, we sure did. I think on the encounter rolls, which are D100s, I rolled my first, 4 of them were at least a 75. So,
Bro.
doing real good.
You know, I was, you guys started when I was in a session, and then, at midnight, I clicked on, and it's like, you guys are still going. What the hell? You normally end before.
Yeah, Greg was a trooper.
Good job, Greg. Corin, how was your week, buddy?
It's alright. Had some big planning stuff to do at work for fourth quarter, so that was, fine. Meant I didn't get to do any real work, which sucks. But yeah, I think it went okay, so doing good. Then I played in Greg's game we were just talking about, and that was pretty fun.
Very cool. How was your Saturday? That's what I want to know.
Oh, it was good. I went to see my dad for his birthday, and we watched some football and ate some food. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Good shit, man. Happy birthday to your father, wherever he might be. Henrietta! It's been 2 weeks! Where have you been?
In the depths of hell. I was in New York.
Same
thing.
Same thing. Similar climate, I would say. Just nice, wet. Just real wet and hot. Real moist.
Yeah.
I had a great time. Went to upstate New York and for a wedding, and then went down to New York City. And I love New York City. I just love wandering around. Ate delicious food. And then I returned on Wednesday and went back to work on Thursday. So I gave myself an extra day of no work. It was nice. Yeah. And then I've been doing lots of homework, and that's about it.
Rube, you look quite dashing today, if I might say so. How was your week?
I had a fantastic week. I started off in Monterey, wine tasting, and I finished the week off. Working Bacon Fest here in Modesto. So I'm very tired. I worked for 15 hours yesterday.
Jeez. Well, Rube, I don't know if you know this, but you have, the busiest life ever, man. You're wine tasting, you're traveling up and down the north or west coast the entire time. The north coast. I'm just so
North
impressed
Coast.
whenever you tell me.
I
Here's
don't go
the
to
coldest
Canada.
time of year.
2 weeks ago, you were in Las Vegas doing other crazy stuff. Man, this guy, everyone. What a life he leads.
Life's too
though,
short.
have been playing Space Marine 2. I've been waiting years for this fucking game, and it was fantastic. It was great. I even got to play with Millman and his Australian friends, the legendary Millman, last night. And I dominated their games because they're horrible at Space Marine. I don't know what it is. Oh, that or I'm just good. Alright, now that I'm done talking about Space Marine, guys, we need a recap of what happened. And as tradition, we throw it to the person who wasn't here last week. So, Henrietta, what happened last time on Ordeals of Livistio?
I want to start off by saying that I really tried my best to watch all of it. Could not. I sped through a lot. And still maybe I got like 2 hours and 10 minutes. So the ending, couldn't tell you. I'll make
That's
it
fair.
up. I can say it it started with us kind of regroup. Beyonce was almost choked out by Ursale, and then was struck with T-pose disease. Not fatal this time, hopefully. And then we went to find Greg, the prince, and we got into a fight with some tieflings and some weird gooey monsters, and the gravedigger who has betrayed us, which is unfortunate because he was really cool. Corin was Yonsei, which is really sad because that means I didn't get to cast the shatter spell that destroyed a well-flashed bridge. I'm sure it was really cool when that happened. I think Snefru and Dyson both went down at some point. And I brought them both back. You're welcome.
Thank you.
That was me, not Corin. And so I skipped through a lot of the fighting. There was jokes being at some point someone like stomped someone to death, I think is what happened. What else? Beyonce pretended to be the prince, and that's how we convinced Gilly that we were not Nordian, I think.
What do you think happened at the end of the session, Yonsei?
That's a great question. There was a lot of fighting, and I skipped through a lot of that, just kind of kept hitting the forward button.
Yep.
And then the fighting stopped, and I got to Dyson and Snefru hugging each other. And then I imagined that everyone was really cool, and they all got together and ate some cheese, and discussed politics, and then ultimately decided that world domination was the answer. Because we're all really good at our jobs. So we've started a tyranny. Join or die is our motto.
We've become the Jesuits. All right.
Yeah. And Beyonce, shatters anyone that disagrees. So that's where we are now. Welcome to the evil campaign.
As these visions strike your mind and I lead us directly into our session, your arms pop suddenly. Oh, it hurts so badly. Beyonce, it's like your diaphragm has not took in breath for the past few days. Even though it's only been 4 hours or so since you were struck with this beautiful T-posing virus. You glance around, and honestly, you're not that far off the mark. You're besieging your dad's castle where you lived. I mean, not your dad, your uncle. Excuse me, you're not the
My
prince.
uncle dad.
Your uncle dad.
Yeah.
My uncle dad.
So good at pretending to be the prince.
Your adventuring party, the Band of the Horn, all 100+ of you, are currently staring out upon the grisly walls of a keep that have been defiled by impaled corpses and other sorts of
Majestic
tokens of sin. Your brother cousin, or clone cousin, whichever one you want to call Glynis,
my brother cousin husband,
has passed out face down
the
in the
rumor that
dirt,
we were married.
is meditating without taking any breath at all because he's so tired. He's so exhausted after days of action. Dysum, you know, is in the river somewhere, about to sleep underwater, possibly forever. Snefru's gone. He's likely stolen something. You don't know what, but it's in your mind. Snefru has robbed a friend of his. And Ursale has discovered one, Winnie the bear. Huh. You know that bear that he just came back with one day? And then Brogvarsh, your favorite NPC and man. This is what you come to.
It's all great.
Yeah, it's fantastic, right?
Am I still exhausted?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's been like 4
I would like
hours
to take
since
a
that.
nap.
You passed out immediately. And you all
There's
will
just
start...
two Glynis's meditating against the wall.
You will try, while everyone else fights and besieges a castle, to recuperate because you're fucking exhausted. You're tired. Some of you are out of hit dice entirely, or maybe you're at 1.
I haven't even looked at
Remembering
my
John's instant kill
character sheet.
rules.
What have you done?
You, just
You have
a
a few
question
spells
about
left.
What was that, Greg?
Just a question about the like timing of where we're at. At the end of last session, Snefru was like in the city proper, robbing a friend, and Ursale was in the woods, like hanging out with Brogvarsh and the bear. Have they they've returned since then? It sounds like has there been like a download of information, especially from Brogvarsh to the party?
I would say so. I don't know where
Okay.
Snefru actually is in the city. Currently, let me just update you all. Livistio, Old Town, and effectively the entire island city, which is quite large, Manhattan, if you will. That is somewhat phallic shape, I'm realizing, as tracing it. Is clear of Neordians and demons alike. Maybe it's whale shape. That's what I mean. It's a whale breaching the ocean, alright? I
That's
do myself
acceptable.
no favors with my maps, guys. Regardless, the city is entirely liberated for the time being. So you all can quite literally move wherever you want to in this place if you don't want to oversee the siege of your father's castle. I don't know if you all are still in that church where we left you all, or if you're just out in the middle of the grounds. I'm kind of letting you all fracture out, but assumedly everyone is still remaining or keeping communication lines open. So Brogvarsh would have been, you know, we're hand-waving the meeting with them to just sort of get everybody...
So Brogvarsh told us basically that we know where the fleet is, right? Or like we at least know where the admiral's ship is.
Uh-huh.
And like I'm interested to know why he's there and what side he's on and what's going on. And I've been, I guess, essentially informed by military advisors that, you know, we can't go into the castle right now. You know, we're sieging, I guess, instead of like walking in. So I think I want to find Killigan and like, I don't know, confront is probably a strong word, but like assess, talk to, figure out if we can circumvent a long siege. And I rolled well and did not become exhausted despite my long hours. So mechanically, I don't feel super in need of a long rest. If the party is trying to grab one, I'm interested in meandering towards Killigan in that week of resting.
Does anyone else wish to describe or tell me what you would do during a long rest other than go into a minor coma to hopefully get rid of that exhaustion level?
I'm sorry?
Does
I
anybody
didn't
else want
understand
to
you.
share what they're doing during a long rest?
Oh.
I have to escape the city.
Where
Get me
you
outta
gotta
here.
go or something?
So, how wide is the river that separates the city from the shore on the outside?
It's a
Since
few
we've-
100 feet. It's not nearly as big as the
I
map
can swim
depicts.
that, right?
You also have a friend that could just magically get you across.
That's true.
Sure, but that's less fun.
It's your exhaustion.
Haste.
Oh.
So Ursalmi
But-
wants to sneak out of the city. What is his purpose for? Where are you?
I need to return to nature, and I need to thank the bear mother for blessing my weapon during our fight against the demons.
Are you planning to make this like a retreat? Or a single day before heading back to your party?
I'd essentially want to take a long rest in the woods, I think, rather than in the city.
You will swim that distance then. We jump to Dyson. Dyson, you sounded like you had an idea of what you wanted to do.
Well, the two main things on Dyson's plate is one, make sure everyone's healed. Soldiers, friends, commoners that might still be in the city for some reason. But two, Dyson needs to reconnect with his god. And although he knows at some point he's going to have to return to the ocean to fully restore that connection, he doesn't have that luxury right now of spare time. So the closest he can get is with the river and try to commune with his god that way.
Is there any sort of process you take to do this? Like, do you just dump a bunch of salt that you steal into the river, or what?
Dyson will make like his own like tiny little camp next to the river with a giant cauldron of salt water, and then mix in herbs, ink, and other substances before placing the entire cauldron into the river and slowly watching all of the mixture combine with the river itself.
Well, you will spend at least a day gathering all those materials, as well as finding help for the cauldron, since it's fucking heavy as fuck. What about you, Yonsei? What do you do during your downtime?
Well, after Yonsei's initial short rest, just resting, because I'm all out of spells, and I'm real fucking tired. Somehow got out of many fights without losing any hit points, which marked that down. Yonsei continually not getting hurt during battles.
Unscarred.
Unscarred, but really tired. And then after that, Yonsei's gonna return back to the fucking bridge gate. Because Yonsei's still sus, and was right to be, evidently. And is gonna just hang out there for the week, with my boy toy. Keeping an eye on what's going on across the water, and ready to fucking shatter this piece of shit at any time. Just,
Ready
but
to
like
shatter with
you
an
know?
empty shotgun.
Just threatening to. It's a bluff.
I think I get my spells back after a short rest now.
I don't think that's the case, but you should check that to see if I don't know what Tasha's rules do, because that is also.
Oh no, it's regaining my bardic inspiration. I think you're right.
Snafu, what about you? What are you doing
Yep.
during your long rest?
The other members, the facilitators, will notice Nefer is quite furtive lately in his long rest. He keeps to himself in his quarters. When asked what he's doing, he squeals, "Research! Leave me alone!" And he is, when he's not squirreled away, trying to decipher the spell book he stole. He is taking care of his arch enemy, Hannigan Flanagan. And yeah, so he would spend a week being a wizard and an okay person sometimes.
Okay. second. There we go. Okay. You all scatter, and I'm going to do this in the chronologically easiest way for all these events to transpire. I believe Ursale will sneak out of town before Glynis will get to Killigan. Snefru is a self-contained man in a hole, so we don't need to worry about him. Yonsei's also kind of self-contained on a bridge, although. And then Dizem has some rituals he needs to do. So we're going to start with Ursale. Ursale, you swim across the river in the dead of night or in the early morning hours, whichever time is easiest for him to sneak away. You... I don't even think it's going to be a check. You're so strong and athletic. If you want, you can give me an athletic check, but you're risking yourself rolling a 1 and drowning in the river.
I mean, you gotta take the risk, right?
Okay, you don't drown in the river. You swim across a few 100 feet of cold, biting river water, but it is refreshing to you as you make yourself a small camp out here in the woods between Livistio and Alien. How do you go about giving thanks to the Bear Mother?
So I think the first thing I do is I set up a camp. And as foolish as this might be, I think I just absolutely leave everything there at that camp. And I'm gonna go hunting just with nothing, right? I'm going to try to get a stag or something with my bare hand.
With your bare hands. Oh.
Yes.
All right. John actually has to process what that looks like in his head. Do you have a particular strategy you go about doing? Are you gonna just run it down? I don't think that's very restful, if so.
No. I mean, probably. I mean, if you're going to say that I need 9 days because I spend the first 2 or 3 days doing this, then that's fine, John.
Okay.
Or, yeah. So, I guess the idea is that you need to get close to it, right? There's no way that I can outrun this thing. At least not in the short term, even with my, slightly faster than natural strength, right? So I think the first thing to do is just setting up somewhere where the deer want to be and waiting.
Okay. You wait. Give me a stealth check real quick as you hide in the foliage of the wilderness.
Absolutely perfect, John.
Are you exhausted?
I'm not. I don't remember.
You don't remember?
I think
I lost my
right.
character sheet,
Your
John.
character sheet died.
I was trying to think about whether or not I was exhausted, and I
think
just don't remember.
I like the
Corn
20,
and
but
wood
I want to
passed.
make you sweat. So that's why I pose these questions, because it's an ordeal dealing with me. Ursale, you become one with nature for a little while. You find a small pond of water. And sure enough, a stag doth cometh within the very first day of waiting. It's almost as if a sign from the Bear Mother, for it just stumbles 5 feet from you.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, I just need to react faster than to jump out and leap on it.
I think you're going to do that fine, Ursale. I don't think I'm going to have you multi-roll this encounter. You grab it, you wrestle it to the ground, and in a brutal, murderous assassination, you slay this deer.
And then I want to drag it back to my camp.
You do. do so.
My stuff still there?
Your stuff's still there.
Yeah, it's there. See.
All right, awesome. So, I actually went out of my way to purchase a totem and a component pouch, even though I am not a spellcaster, John. This is specifically because I want to be able to perform, non-spellcasting rituals. So I think I'm just going to sit down in the woods and then offer this kill to the bear mother.
You prepare it for consumption. This is a ritual you have likely seen dozens of times now, as druids and the druidic order of the Bear Mother have long given offerings to her. And although she is a physical entity somewhere, she is also a interdimensional one. For fun, D100.
$56. Middle of the road, John.
Middle of the road, but it's one above 55, which is a holy number to me. Ursolite, we're going to catch up on what that 56 represents here in a little bit. As I jump to Glynis, who is slightly faster at talking and or yelling across a river than Dizem, who is currently gathering a cauldron of materials. Glynis, you stride on over to where Brogvarsh spied upon Killigan and his small flotilla.
So you say I'm shouting across the water. Is he like floating in the middle of the river out of reach?
He is on a cove in the southern side of this river.
Can I approach the cove, or am I cut off from it?
No, you're not cut off. You can make your way across it.
Okay. Oh, then I guess I'm gonna like stride on up to the cove then, right? Glynis wants to look this man in the eyes. He doesn't want to shout across a river. You know, it works so well with the Gravekeeper. And so I guess I'm just gonna stride up to this like flotilla, and I guess I shout for, Admiral Killigan. The day I promised has come. Speak with me now, and I just walk forward.
Walk forward. And you see all manner of scoundrel, pirate, and other naval/river boatle people. The river folk of Livistio are probably the most independent, mostly due to the fact that they can just get in a river when they don't like magistrates and flow down it, and then no longer have to deal with said magistrates. I am going to change the music as you call out, and you, the Crown Prince, head straight to Killigan. Some of the boat people of this scoundrel armada are, how should we say this? Deferential
Sketchy.
to you. They have heard tale of what you have done in the city. They see what kind of ambitious leader you are becoming. And as you walk up a small gangplank to this great big river boat, you will find Killigan, who is dressed neatly, ready for battle, but has yet to receive the word to deploy.
I guess I ask him, do you want to do this in public or in your chambers?
Oh, yeah, this is a private meeting. He immediately spins on his heel and heads to a small cabin on top of this wooden boat. Undoubtedly, there's going to be eavesdroppers no matter what, but he is not
I'm less worried about eavesdroppers as I am just like, I don't know, like,
public appearance.
I don't want to get jumped by 40 dudes if, he's a demon follower. I'd rather try to 1v1 him.
You head on inside I believe you have seen these quarters before in private conversation with him, so I will not describe them. But he sits upon a small table to look you in the eye because he's quite taller than you and chiseled, even though he is aged.
Is he that much taller than me?
How tall is
Like, he has to sit to be eye level with me? Like, he's like...
Yeah, how tall are you?
10 feet tall?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like 6'6" or 6'7" or something. He's quite large.
Okay, I mean, like, he's taller than me, but... Alright.
He looks up to you then, if that's just such a big deal. He stands at a 45-degree angle on an elevated plane. Are you okay? Glynis, I'm sorry. Some people are bigger than you. What do you want from me? He looks down on you now, Glynis.
Yeah.
He keeps
stares
going
down
up
his
and
nose
down
at
like
Glynis.
this.
Yeah. Okay. He prairie dogs the shit out of me. Okay, got it. I say, Gilligan, I appreciate you taking this meeting. I have a hard conversation to have with you now. You, I am sure, are aware of the undertakings inside the city. I'm sure someone is keeping you abreast of the fighting. The Ordeals have been dispelled, but there's a larger threat upon us now, and I must know well your loyalties and where they lie. I tell him there are demons afoot. It seems that the Lord Bryce Bronson has been a demon called Sigmalath. Has posed as such for some time and taken control of the court. It seems perhaps he holds some sway or dominion over my father, the king, when I last spoke with them. As of now, we have dispelled whatever strange mist that was spawned by these demons from our well, but we are not able to enter the castle and deal with them head on once more. Here you sit, though, almost as if waiting for their beck and call. You challenged me once on the river, asking if I was here to make you kneel as my father did. I must know, where do your loyalties lie, and can I count on you to help me end this war? Or do I need to make you?
What know of my tale, you, Glynis?
Sadly little. I know that you were once a raider of great skill and terror in the rivers, and one day you were brought before the court, and instead of being executed, were given position as Admiral of the Waters. Beyond those mere simple details, I know not the tale.
Your father, and he hesitates on that for a moment, the king, gave me pardon for one reason only, and that was for when the time came, he would use me to kill a great number of Neordians. Those humans to the north, they killed my family, my tribe, expunged us like we were vermin, and in the next week, month, year, their king made alliance with a second tribe to subjugate them. Your father has promised me a kingdom in the north when their king Mayan dies, which I will hopefully have a hand in Orcish state. What do you
What would you
offer?
do with this kingdom?
That's none of your concern.
It is. For the king will not be able to give it to you when this war is done, but I will.
How?
If he is under sway of demon, he will not live to see the next sunset.
Who? Your father?
Myself.
You will kill him as an assassin?
As a liberation.
Glynis, Your Highness, you offer something not within your reach.
Yet here you sit,
Yes.
like mice in a hole, waiting. A whole
Yes.
war rages. You've not moved, not been called upon. What have you been given? Have you slaughtered a single Neordian during this war?
No. I have been told that stratagems and tactics have been implemented by a third party and ruined our grand plan.
You're welcome.
No, I'm not.
Oh, you quite are. The demons would not spare you. They wipe away life as they see fit. You are beneath their notice. I promise you this. Now,
How do you know
I will enter.
this?
I have spoken with them.
They have told you I will wipe away all of the
As-
world.
Oh, yes. They offered me the ability to do so myself with a single flick of the wrist.
I do not believe you.
I do not have a performance ability. Do I have there's some proof of the demons, right? We had I
It
guess
is
they're
clear
black
he knows
iron.
about them,
Yeah,
Glynis.
that's fair. How do I give?
And Glynis, as a reminder, since it's been a couple of weeks, Bryce Bronson offered you a similar deal. He promised you
Yeah,
Empire.
no.
This,
I'm representing. I'm misrepresenting his words to me. Right.
I understand.
I'm negotiating. I'm misrepresenting that deal. But it is, in my opinion, honest.
I'm honestly
I-
misrepresenting them. Hell yeah.
I believe that the deal is not something the demons would give, right? Like, he may get his orcish city kingdom, but it won't be his. Does this make sense?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So in my mind, I am honestly saying you're not getting what you're expecting, but I am misrepresenting the words that were said to me to make the point. Okay. I can do one of two things, John. Would you like me to do some weird mumbo jumbo with key points to try to like have a silly moment? Or would you like me to like stick to mundane tactics?
Stick with mundane tactics, and if they don't work, use key shenanigans.
All right. This is. If you are to side with demons, then I will have no choice but to command your crew and your ships myself. You asked me once if I was here to make you kneel. It seems, in fact, that I am. And I open the door, and I call forth a challenge! Under the Pirate's Code, I suppose. Myself and Killigan. And I try my best to rile these people up, and I stare at them.
Glynis, your father still cares for you, and as such, I am not allowed to murder you here, shedding your
don't worry.
organs and blood upon my deck. You may leave. I will not stop you.
I will not leave without access of your ships. I need them to either enter that castle or kill the Ordeals.
You have no authority to command us. You may leave,
And I will.
or we could go through the rigmarole of you trying to fight me, and then my loyalists will beat you down into unconsciousness, and I will hurl you into the river. You may choose, but do not try to strong-arm an orc.
Well, it's been done once before. I guess if he won't fight me and the crew's like not riled up by a challenge, I can't really like force trial by combat on him. I'm not gonna like jump him in his chair.
Punch him in the face.
You could start swinging, but it seems that if there are eavesdroppers, they are in hushed
I walk
silence.
out into the cave or cove or whatever, and I just start shouting at the people. I'm like, "Are you happy with this? Hiding like mice while war rages? Your enemies are out there. I have slain them by my own hands. I have commanded others to do so. I have won. You sit here waiting, hiding for the war to pass, your enemies killed by other hands? Would you follow this man to the grave of demons and second guessing and lost opportunities? He denies my challenge. Would you abide by that? And I don't know. I guess I'm trying to use the crowd against Killigan here.
Give me a beautiful charisma roll and/or
All right.
performative thing.
Sure. Performance, you say? It's a 21.
That's pretty good. From the crew, who are not scoundrels, but like actually patriots, we'll call them. They're like, I'm a fucking Livistian. Why have we been waiting here for days when our country's been invaded? Some of those people, maybe like a dozen or two, are beginning to like look at each other and mutter to themselves, why are we waiting? Why hasn't the king given us orders? Over and over, muttering to themselves. However, this audience that you are placating to, performing to, trying to get on the hype train, most of them are of the criminal and scoundrelly society. They don't respect you, even though they've heard of your tales. You don't pay them, the king does. The king has the authority. And if you had the coin purse, if you had the crown, perhaps they'd be more open to your whim and calls. But a handful will quite literally see that they're outnumbered and already having sort of identified themselves as like, yeah, fuck this shit. This is stupid as hell. One of them calls out, I'm with you, your highness. Fuck this shit. Let's get out of here. And then when he tries to take over his boat, he's gonna get hurled into the river by an orc. But after the failed mutiny, you will gain another dozen or so pirates and or boatmen who will disembark with you.
All right. I suppose before I leave, I say, "You're lucky this day, Killigan. Remember, when this is over, I will return." And I guess I'll just leave with who I can. Of these people, are any of them... I'm sure Killigan has mostly, like, motley crew and does most of the, like, planning himself. But is there anyone of the, like... add the Navy intelligence here? Like, does anyone have an understanding of like where things stand, or are these just boatmen?
Well, let's find out. Let's see how close knit the pirate circle truly is. You want highs or lows, Greg?
Always highs.
Always highs.
Always
you
highs.
are surrounded by deckhands. Maybe a marine who is good enough to fight on a moving vessel.
And I have like a dozen people and no boat, basically.
Yep.
Okay. Hey, you know, we always need good hands.
They walk with you. They'll tell you what they know. It's not like they're trying to hide anything from you.
Sure, but they just don't have... They don't have the plans of the secret, like, you know, hideaway to go get in the castle, or like what the like next step is, or anything, or like even where the enemies on the map are. All right, and I don't have a boat. Okay.
Okay.
Is Cayman's garrison still like at the bridge, or are they making their way to Aiken?
Cayman is still defending the city, because that was his last order.
Okay.
You've promoted him to city garrison leader, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So, I'm okay with that, I suppose. I'll talk to my party about tactics at some point. We'll try to figure it out. In some version of the future, I would love for them to make sure that Aiken doesn't get, like, razed, and that, like, there's an army, like, that confronts the army out there while we try to win that war. But as of now, defending the gate is fine. I think that these people, I guess they want to follow me. I guess they get to join the Band of the Horn. We'll outfit them and get them in there. Yeah.
One of them.
Band of the Horn Marines.
Yeah, we'll have like 12 boatmen so that we can like launch surprise attacks with over a river.
I'll swim across that river, no problem.
Okay.
We're gonna jump to our salty boy, Dyson. Dyson, it's a beautiful Tuesday morning when you do your ritual. Please describe for me how it goes. I hope you have some words of wisdom and chanting you can do for us.
Dyson is not smart, but he is wise. The difference of those two he does not know, but that's not important. He knows that rituals aren't done with books. Rituals are passed down from leaders to followers. That's how it's always been done for Dyson. There are no scrolls where he comes from, or big books of the people who came before him. So Dyson is going to just recall upon his past. All of the people he's seen before him do the rituals to his own goddess and replicate the steps for himself of the things he's done before. Salt water, the ink, herbs of the land, and plants of the river. Combine them in one large cauldron to make a sort of murky sea. A tiny, very tiny version of a sea, but a sea nonetheless. You'll then boil this water before placing the cauldron into the river to try to make just for a period of time, a very tremulous, tiny ocean. The one that his god resides in. The one that he can hopefully commune with.
Check. Based off wisdom. You remember the old cult leader, as it were. The tentacled man himself.
You want me to do a
If
raw
you're
wisdom?
proficient with religion, just find something that is proficient with wisdom, and we will know.
I got that. Every time, I have the worst rolls when it comes to my own religion. This is the second time. I'm like, yeah, no, I'll roll for my religion. Under 6.
Dizem! You get all the components necessary. You throw them in the cauldron. And then... you're trying to remember... oh, fuck. What did the cultists do last time? We've done this before, you say to yourself. I need Mom to come here so I can commune with her. And you're like, oh shit, I know. I'm gonna taint this body of water, this freshwater river, with this. And you, like, dig out a small pit for, like, the water of the river to come into, and you lower the cauldron down, and it begins to burble up, creating a thing, and you're like, what am I forgetting? I'm forgetting something. You turn to a guy next to you, a random Livistian soldier who is here to help you because somebody told him to. He's like, why are you looking at me? I don't know what to do. What are you supposed to do? Dyson, what are you forgetting?
Is it possible for me to submerge myself in this water?
You jump into the water. Dyson. Yes, of course it's possible. You throw yourself into quote-unquote the largest cauldron you could find and fall into it. Out just for fun, give me an acrobatics check to see how well you cannonball into this thing. Because you did find the thing I was looking for. I wanted you in this water. That's unnatural.
Another 6.
Alright, you gotta roll me a
Good life.
d6. Let's see how lucky you are today.
Very
You gotta
not
roll
lucky.
another 6.
A d6, bro. Let's see it. You are not...
Ooh.
You're the unluckiest cleric ever.
Alright, now I need a d100.
The Trials of Dizem.
Now you're Dicem. I'm just having you roll. 79's not bad, alright? That's top 21%, baby. Oh my god. Dizem, you go through an ordeal here. As you jump in, you remember you're wearing heavy armor. Your scale mail leans you in top heavy. You slip on a rock. You fall ass into the cauldron. The water floods over you. As you are now encased with an inky, salty, chemical bath as river water strikes you in the face. You are not having a good time. One of your eyes just goes blind for a little bit as random gunk gets in it. And then you're like, I've really bungled this potato bag. And you just seep into the water for a minute or two. Dizem, if you could connect to your goddess right now, what would you say to the greatest being in the ocean ever?
Am I doing it correctly? But not in the sense of the ritual, but just everything. Everything up to this point. Yeah, have I done this correctly?
It's a very religious question.
No, I fucked up the ritual, but what about everything else? Please give me a sign. You stay submerged for a little while. I don't know if... No, Dyson can't breathe underwater. But he can't hold his breath for a really long time. He's been living in the ocean all of his life. Or for the most part of his life. And although you don't sigh out because you'd lose oxygen, you just wait there. Wait for a sign. Any sign at all. And whether it's the coursing of the river, or whether it's your nerves within your excess tentacles that most Dragonborn don't have, just for a brief moment, you feel it like coil around your neck, almost like a hug, or maybe like a noose. You're unsure if this is a sign of comfort, or if it's a strangulation of displeasure. But as you pull free your tentacle back to where it's supposed to go, reassert your own neuro control over it, you will stand up from the cauldron. Oh, realize you tweaked your back on the fall. Look to this guy who's like, "Are you okay?" No?
What do you know about the ocean?
It's big.
And the creatures that live there?
They're big too.
Now, why would you have to be big in a place that's big?
I don't know.
Because emptiness is the enemy.
Is that why
It's the
you
loneliness.
filled this cauldron like 4 times?
I fill this cauldron to combat the emptiness, the loneliness, the feeling of not having anyone there for me.
Huh. I'm sorry, man. That sounds horrible.
Don't feel sorry. I do have someone there for me.
Okay. He starts gently probing, like, what's their name? What? It's like a weird parent who just found out that their kid goes to school with other kids. Oh. You climb out. This guy's a fucking mook. You push him over. Or you go by him. He complainingly asks, like, am I supposed to take the cauldron out of the river? As you, do whatever Dizem does. It might not have been a direct sign or a voice, or, honestly, any sort of true message. But you felt your goddess's power over your body. Is that enough for you, Dizem?
I'm going to seek out Snefru.
You find him. He hasn't moved a single day.
I'm gonna obviously bother him during his deep study.
What do you want?
Snefru, do you ever wonder about my religion?
You came to bug me? Oh, okay. Your worship of the mother. Some entity of the ocean.
If I gave you the power to ask me one question about my religion, and I answered it with the most truth I could give you, what would your question be? You only get one.
I get one question about the mother.
Only one question. It could be about my religion, my past, the mother, any.
Are there beings of great power besides your mother in your pantheon?
A pantheon is
Uh,
not why I would describe it,
Okay.
but my mother does have a mother. She has sisters, all of them powerful, all of them with their own followers, all of them different from me. Now, does the mother's mother have a mother? I do not know. That's too ancient even for my wisdom.
Sisters. Mother and sister.
Many things lurk in the depths.
Sneffer's just taking notes. One sec.
You take notes.
For my eventual dossier when we have to wipe out this cult. What spurred this sudden clarity, Daisum, that you came to frequent me?
You get your powers from yourself or the knowledge within?
Well, I'm a wizard, and so through great deals of study and practice and a little bit of talent, my powers have come through me.
But other than that, my powers come from my goddess. And since I don't have to do studying and reading, I can instead divert my attention towards prayer and helping people.
And you've done very well at that. I've seen your work recently with the soldiers. And myself, obviously. You seem troubled.
We're very far from the ocean, Sneffer.
That indeed we are. We are exactly... And he spits out a number.
Can I cut in here?
I don't... Yeah.
Snefru. Beautiful Snefru. You will spend days being maybe not distracted by Dyson, but he is a wanted break from your work. For in your time taking care of Hanny Flanagan, who is still feeble-minded, along with Sir Morrison, you will also figure out and decode the book that your good buddy, Morty... Oh god, I forgot his name again.
Marco Brennock.
Marco, thank you, not Morty. You have translated... Morty! I have a spell book, Morty! And these are the spells
Morty.
within it that I wanted you to have access to.
Oh.
Indeed. I also want to jump now to Yonsei. For Yonsei, in the middle of your long rest, specifically on the 24th, so the day after the ritual, as well as the 2 days after your buddy, the prince, went to speak with Killigan. Just checking something. You will have a strange guest show up on the bridge in the middle of the night. You've been looking out at the Neordian army, heading straight to Eilean to raise it to the ground and raid from it. But more importantly than that, as you don't care too much about this war effort if they're ignoring your bridge. Bastards. They're not even trying to take the city anymore. They're just going to the fucking countryside. These Neordian losers. You, Yonsei, are visited by the clip-clacking, tip-tapping, toe striking the cobblestone, Smiling Sam, the best character ever! You see him coming in the dark, holding out a little lantern that he went to search for the prince with ages ago now. And you will be called out to him. Or called out by him? Yes, that's what I wanted to say, not called out to him. Smiling Sam has infiltrated your city and calls out to you. Beyonce!
Oh, to me specifically.
Yes, Beyonce, I need your help!
Around, like...
Smiling Sam
You don't want
calls
someone
out.
more important?
The garrison turns to him and is like, what the fuck is he doing here? Isn't he in league with the demons? Billiam holds on to you tightly. I was like, I don't know what to do, Beyonce. I'm scared.
It's okay, Billiam. I got this.
You tap him. Smiling Sam
Hey,
approaches
Sam.
you.
What's up?
Beyonce! Your cousin, the prince! He he's given me a message to find him at the Southern River, but I don't know which one that is! I can't find it! I've been looking for days, Beyonce! 8 days now! Help me!
Sam,
He begs you.
Sam, do you know where North is?
Yes! But that's the problem! Every time I go to the south, he's not there!
You know, he does move around a lot. Do you want me to just get him for you now?
Could you please take me to him?
Well, you
It's
can
a
wait
matter
here,
of
and
great
I'll go
importance.
get him. No,
He says I'm
actually,
forgetting
like-
things!
Sam, if you just stand right there for 20 minutes, you can time me, alright? That's... I don't know how long that is in counting numbers.
Can I
can't
have
count
him
that
while
high.
I wait? And he points to Billiam, who's like, no, don't let him. Don't let him take me.
You can talk to him. He's a great conversationalist. I've talked to him all about the new play that I'm writing.
I've seen
So
you
if you have
speak with him
questions-
while snuggling in a hammock. It looks quite comforting.
Billiam comfortable. Yeah, but he's unfortunately he's my big teddy bear, and you'll have to get your own later.
That's highly unfortunate.
I know that's rough for you, buddy. I will go get Gilly right now, and I'll be back, and you guys can have a great conversation, and you can wait right there because you make people nervous.
Okay.
So stay where they can see you, please. Thank you.
Beyonce, you take off to find Galinas. I
Drank way too much wine this morning for this.
forget-
Like a little day drunk. I'm on
So
vacation.
in my long rest, I just spend a week blitzed.
I imagine thematically, like Yonsei, like super exhausted like this, all out of bardic inspiration, all out of spells, has like no muse, and just needs to spend like a week just like partying, you know, like fucking, eating, drinking, you know, to, like get
That's a
back,
bard
like,
long rest.
eat-
all of
Exactly,
the
that's
vices
a bard
at
long
once,
rest.
yeah.
Yeah. Engage in all the sins.
The rest of the
Yeah.
party shows up refreshed after a week, and the bard walks in haggard with deep circles under
Hungover,
their
yeah.
eyes, and they're like,
Ready.
"I'm ready."
Never more powerful.
Beyonce, you go find Galinas.
Yeah, just sweating wine. Just
Galinas, do you call for anyone else as you hear this message?
I think that
the
it
message
would
is, by the way, Smiling Sam is here, and I think he wants to cuddle you.
be- I say,
That's
wow,
all I got.
that was quicker than I thought. I thought it might take weeks or months for him to like decide to go to the river.
Apparently, he's been trying to find you.
I think that it would be really possibly very good to have both an arcane and a like clerical mind there. So I think I will call for Dizem and Sneferu if they
Luckily.
are.
In the same place.
Yeah, we were luckily still talking about the. Sneferu's
We
like, I
got-
really need to get back to my notes.
We have like tea, and like I'm trying to study, but I've made him feel welcome, and I can't chase him off.
I basically give you a like, hey, I made note to meet Smiling Sam. I think that he might be under the influence of demons. I'm not sure. And I want to help him if we can. I don't know if I'll need you, but it's possible either a cleric or a magician of some power could help in this regard. Would you follow me to the bridge? And then I
love Smiling
turn on
Sam,
my
yeah.
heel and
wanna
go
say
to the
really
bridge,
quickly,
hoping they
I
come
am
with
of no
me.
help. I am not recuperated yet. All right, only halfway through my week party.
That is very good, Yonsei. You have done an
Great.
admirable job. Please return
Fantastic.
to your debauchery. I would not
I'll do
keep
that.
you from
Yeah,
it.
I got some good stuff waiting for me. I found those good
Excellent.
shrooms. Dang.
You head back to the bridge, and Yonsei will call for Billiam to leave. You found that, Smiling Sam is trying to coax him into your hammock, and you're like, no, this can't happen. Fuck this guy.
It turns out Smiling Sam's very convincing, though, so we have a very
Yeah.
confused Billiam to pull away.
No, we have mushrooms to take, Billiam.
He's been cuddling people for 1,000 years. Aren't you a little bit tempted to see what that's like?
Billiam, not now.
I'm just saying. He said. Before we do the Smiling Sam conversation, I've been mulling over what this 56 represents. And Ursale, whether by divine providence and or just raw natural hunger, as you are preparing and offering this bear up to the bear mother, a literal brown bear will either swim across the river into your forest drenched, or they will come from the ground itself, having been raised from their little dirt/root cave to take this offer for themselves. You're unsure if this is the spiritual medium, a entity given by the bear mother to feast upon her offering on her behalf, or if it's just a random fucking animal. You're unsure which. What do you believe, Ursale, as it effectively ignores you, unaware of your presence?
I think in one way or another, it's an omen, right? Is it really taking the food to the bear mother? Maybe not. But maybe this is the bear mother simply providing for one of her cubs through me.
Like how you provide security and food. No way. I'm losing the analogy already. I'm just gonna stop it there. Okay. I'm so sorry. Ursale, you will watch this bear tear into this animal carcass you have made. You will, after it satiates itself, watch it trundle off to who knows where. It is spring after all. Almost summer. Or getting closer to summer, I suppose. You look for any signs within the corpse like the druids of old. But the meat, the bones, all the good organs of prophecy are currently showing no true signs.
I think Ursale is a little disappointed. I think Ursale would have even taken something that points to a greater sacrifice or something more that he had to do over just okay, that's it, right? But I mean, he doesn't get to make those decisions. So I think he's just going to. I think he's going to just hang out near where this brown bear is for his week of downtime.
You will do so. Now, the Smiling Sam conversation might be a bit long and probably important. So why don't we take a quick break, and then when we come to the other side of it, we will have that conversation. Guys, we'll be right back. Everyone, we are back. Some of us have snacks, others of us have drinks. I have crippling anxiety. You all stare upon... Oh, Jesus, John. Smiling Sam. And by all, I mean everyone effectively except for Ursale. Yonsei can choose to yell at them if she wants or he wants. But otherwise is off with their quote-unquote boy toy billion. Glynis Sneffer Dysum, you stare at a blonde-haired, nicely dressed elf with tap shoes that he is wearing, so that he can always be heard coming a mile away at times. It's like, Your Highness,
Sam.
Heir to the throne, Glynis Marchette! He declares you
Yes.
as you come forward. You told me
thank
to
you.
seek you out, but I have checked every southern-facing part of the river. And did you know that there are several rivers around this island? There's a lot of water moving.
We must have just missed ourselves, in translation. Moving between rivers. But the important part is you found me now.
It's true.
It is. Sam,
I had to sneak out of the castle to find you. Why'd you leave in the first place? It was your castle.
Yes, well, I left because I think that we have much to discuss away from the ears that line the castle.
Like what? Like whose? Whose ears?
Like my father's. You know, he likes to get into my business a lot.
Yes.
You know how fathers are. But
They love
Sam,
their sons.
They do. Do they love their servants, though? Oh, I want to talk
Some.
about you.
Okay, let's
Some?
talk.
That's good. You've been in service of Bryce Bronson for some time. Do you remember
family.
how you got there? And his family. Yeah.
Yes, of course
What?
I remember. Bruce Bronson, his grandfather, he came here from the capital, and I was there at the time, serving the lady, I believe Adira at the time. Iliro, that was her name. Excuse me. Names. There's so many of them. Why are there so many names? Regardless, I was serving the lady I'm ill. Regardless, Bruce Bronson told me to follow him, to help him with the other people. And I was like, oh yeah, sure, of course I'd help. I love helping people. Helping people, number one thing I like.
It's your calling, right?
I am a manservant.
You've traveled the world for some countless years, and yet you have
Thousands.
stayed amongst... Yes, who could imagine? Yet you stayed amongst a house of humans, serving them. What have you learned? What have you gained from their service? Or from your service?
Dental.
That is important.
Every
gonna have to
6
talk to my
weeks,
dad about
I get
that. I
a
don't think we get
week-long
dental.
break, which is nice.
Yeah?
Vacation time.
Do you have a full accounting of your time, your service with them?
Like in a
Do you-
book?
No, I mean, your recollection is incredible. You remember the name of some human, a gnat, a blink in the eye from many years ago with perfection. You remember... Ilya?
Oh, no.
Irina?
She was an elf. That was when I was an elf servant.
Oh. I see. I misunderstood.
Yes.
I suppose what I'm asking is, how is your memory since serving the Bronsons? Do you have a full accounting, a full recollection of?
You know, Glynis, when you get to be my age, Time
I won't,
does not
sadly.
move like a river.
Fair enough. Do you know the nature of your... Should I say master? That seems wrong. Your
My employer? Bryce Bronson's my employer.
Employer, then. Yes.
I'm an employee.
Of course. Otherwise, how would you get dental? This makes sense.
Exactly. I'm a servant of men. He is a man, after all.
Sorry to interject, Your Highness.
Yes.
You serve Bryce Bronson, but not Sigma Moth, who is not
Who's
a man.
that?
Oh, that's an excellent point. He is a very bad guy in the castle.
Oh no. In the castle? Are you sure?
I'm
Can
positive.
I've been in that
I know
castle.
you don't...
I don't know any Sigma moths.
I know you don't like insight as like a skill, but is there any way that Glynis can attempt to ascertain the veracity of this man's like statements? Like, do
Wait,
I
another
at least
$5 vocab word there?
like? Okay. Sorry.
I love it. No, you're good. That was
No,
the greatest way to ask for an insight check.
You know, he's being a little
Can I
bespoke.
tell
Why
if the
don't you
man
give
is
me an
telling the
insight
truth?
check, Glynis?
Okay.
I'm gonna use that next time to.
I want to know at least if he thinks he's telling the truth, right? And
I'll tell you, I'm lying right now.
okay, thank you.
I'm going to send it to a child. Can I ascertain the veracity of the truth of this statement?
It's a 14.
Look, Smiling Sam's a weird guy, but I don't think Glynis has ever... What would it be? Interacted with a creature so bizarre as Smiling Sam. You think he thinks he's telling the truth if he is a humanoid.
Alright. Fair. I tell Smiling Sam, like, this is hard news to hear. But you remember the shapeshifter that was in the castle, yes?
Yes, that guy. Whew. Bryce Bronson threw a table at him. I didn't know he had
I
the
heard
strength.
It's quite heroic, wasn't it?
You know, I've seen humans when you see each other in danger, they just become Herculean. Whoa, that was a tough word.
Yeah. There's tales of mothers that lift whole carriages off of their children. And anyway,
It's true.
I've
I've seen Ursale do it.
is. Oh, you know, fair point.
We
that
cut to a
wasn't the
younger
only
version of Ursale lifting a carriage.
and like getting a wounded bear pup out.
Yeah.
I say that wasn't the only fell influence in the court. You hear my advisor speak of Sigmalath. There is demonic influence inside of it. In fact, when I went to the castle, it tried to give me a deal. I, of course, would not take it. Have you noticed that? Have you sensed any of it there? Yes, and it's
I've
been
seen
there for some time.
tieflings. Or tieflings
But not the
demons?
No, they're cursed
Oh,
peoples.
thank goodness.
They bear the sins of their ancestors on their flesh.
Mm.
Sam, I think that your mind has been clouded. You have been following this castle for so long. You haven't seen what it's become. I want to help you. I want to unlock that for you.
How?
Will you... I have here my most trusted advisors in the ways of magics. And minds. I hear that we've invented cauldron therapy recently. Anyway,
Was that why there was a cauldron in the river?
it is, yes.
I saw a man struggling to pull it out. It looked heavy.
I want to try something myself, but I would also wish that you would allow my advisors to examine you, perhaps assist if I cannot help you myself. For I wish no ill will upon you, Sam. I wish to see you continue your long life, to know what adventures you might find. And I'm gonna try to touch his mind with I reach out to his temple like I'm fucking Charles Xavier or something.
He shoves his forehead into your hand.
Yeah.
Touch me.
Great,
Pet me
great,
like a
great,
dog.
great. I have been microdosing what has turned out to be a demon spearhead for a really long time. And I expend ki as much as I need to, I suppose. Tell me what you want from me in some order, but this is my intention. I want to try to find fell influence upon his body or person or mind, because because I know what to look for, and I've been practicing caging it, all right, in my own mind, because eventually I'd like to insulate myself from perhaps some influence. But if I could use my ki to try to do something similar for Sam and break at least some of the influence perhaps of a Sigmalath upon him.
Yeah, unironically, now I need you to make me another insight check.
Absolutely.
And spend... How many key point do you have? 6? 5?
I have 5 total.
Give me 3, and I will let you roll at advantage.
Will do. Yeah, I expend 3 key points, and I will
As
roll
you
at advantage.
connect body and mind with this beautiful man.
Yeah.
This manservant, I should say. He's not a man, he's an elf. Human, a man-elf, a 16.
A 16.
Oh my god, Glynis. This guy's brain, it's fogged over with demonic influence, as well as considerable age. This guy is super old. He doesn't look a day over 35, but my fucking god, man. He's gotta be in the thousands of years. This guy's old, early second age. Maybe even first age. This guy's ancient. This is what you feel.
So as I feel this, I attempt to start forming a little box, right, of my own energy, and I try to run it through that mind like a bucket, and I want to scoop up the evil, right, or the fell influence, right, and perhaps I don't know if this is something that needs to be empowered or something, but if I guess I kind of narrate what I'm doing to Sneferu and Dizem, so they're understanding what I see, my thought process, and I'm like, he is at least impacted by the presence of this energy. I'm going to try to lock it away to free his mind. This is what I'm doing, and I guess the unspoken question there is, can you help? and Glynis doesn't require it, but he's gonna do his thing to try to lock this all away in a little box, at least if not permanent, then temporarily. But I don't know. He narrates this kind of with an unspoken guys, your turn if you want.
Sneferu, Dizem. You help your prince?
I can attempt to give him a I can attempt to help him with a second level lesser restoration to try to help him with this affliction.
Okay, okay. I'll give him advantage for you spending that spell slot in such a way. Beyonce, do you want to just give it... Oh, you're distracted. Rip Beyonce. Snafru?
Glennis described it as energy, and if Snefru is told about it, he thinks of the spell or the energy in the mind like a circuit of magic and a spell formulation. And trapping that will do more harm than good is his initial gut reaction. He would try to give it an avenue of release and break the circuit and release the energy, thus clearing the fog that way. So he would try to help in that way?
Yeah, how do you go about doing that? Do you take like a, syrup spigot and just shove it into his head, or like?
I don't have any great spell to do that. I can't draw magic from him and use it. I was thinking like Arcana to help guide or try to explain to the prince how I would funnel the energy. Like try to explain the weave of magic and how it might interact with Key. I don't know. I'm
Just
grasping at
take all the
straws.
demonic energy and put it in his stomach.
There you go.
Ursali. Genius!
Ursali just like walks in from the forest carrying like a little bit of leftover stag. Like, hey, I know what you're doing. Put it in its stomach. Like, oh, hey, what's up, Ursali?
Put it in his stomach. Okay.
Snaffer, give me an Arcana check. This will be I don't know, we'll give Glennis a flat modifier for you helping him, because he's already going to get advantage. Glennis, why don't you take a +4 to the next roll that you're going to have to make at advantage as well. Beyonce, is there anything you do to contribute other than, I mean, we jokingly last week described it as you slapping people on the ass to give them bardic inspiration, but...
I mean, I do that pretty frequently. If Gilly's firm tush needs a good slap of inspiration, I will give it.
I just wanted to know if you were doing anything.
Rock hard, absolutely.
I like the idea that Yonsei is like, I'm leaving with Billiam, and then goes, my spidey senses are tingling. An acid
yeah.
and walks in,
rubs
goes,
their hands together, gets them all warmed up, and goes into the
walks
alley.
in, winds it up, and then walks back into the bedroom.
That's for you.
Okay.
Awesome.
What I want from you, Glennis, is to make me a wisdom saving throw at advantage with an additional +4 and whatever the bardic gives you.
D8.
All right. Okay, so this is the wisdom saving throw, normally at advantage. It's an 18. +4 is 22, plus a D8, if I can type properly, is an 8. So that's a 22 plus 8 is 30. That's a dirty 30.
That's a dirty
It's
30.
a dirty 30, baby.
The DMG
Hard to come by.
says that any impossible challenge should be DC 30 or above. And your goal was to suppress, remove, or alter the demonic cloud that fogs over this guy's mind. Good old smiling Sam. You grab his head with your hands. You put it on the key points on his body that he has never once tapped into. You immediately feel like part of his brain is hollow, or his skull is like dented as a boy. Maybe it's just soft. It's like a rotten egg in a way, Glennis.
Glennis makes a note of what dementia feels like. It's like, I know what to look for.
You then channel the energies of Dizem through yourself. The lesser restoration shoots like a lightning bolt of energy into his brain. He's like, starts shaking violently, standing upright. Snafru uses his arcane knowledge, like, you must release the energy. You can't seal it away. You have to get it out. And with your other hand, you do a slap of the ass motion, just as Beyonce had done to you, and point out towards the sky. And sure enough, a dark, foggy mist rolls through the air. Everybody! Oh! You're frightened for just a moment. You suffer of a frightened condition automatically, as a hiss and a voice comes forth of demonic abyssal words. Ursale, your eyes swiveling at the corpse, your mental, maybe you showed up as an angel on Snefru's shoulders to say, put it in his stomach, lol. But regardless, Ursale, you turn to the city suddenly, feeling a distortion of dark energy in the natural world. Something's wrong. Ursale, what do you do?
I think I've got to finish my time out here. I'm not going back to that city.
They're like, something's wrong over
problem.
there, and it's not my problem. And you turn around, ignoring it.
This is when we hear him shout, put it in the stomach. He just looks out there, he's like, eat it, put it in your stomach, and then goes back to stagging.
You all watch this dark abyssal cloud form out of Glynis's finger and then solidify as it hits the air, turning into this black calcified smoke that hits the ground like gemstones. You blink at what you've just done, Glynis. You acted as a conduit for 4 different sources of magic, plus abyssal. This is maybe the greatest moment in your life as you feel Smiling Sam's hand take your wrist, move it down to his chest, and holds it in his other hand. So now your hand is grappled by 2 of Smiling Sam's hands, and he's like, Your Highness, Glynis Marchette, what have you just done?
I have taken the influence of Sigmalath from your mind. Hopefully it will clear it for some time.
I see. I'm beginning to remember a lot of things.
Oh, okay. I let him remember, I suppose.
He takes your elbow, then, and begins to, weirdly move you closer towards Snefru, as if lining you up for a breath weapon. You just place...
That feels comfortable and good, yeah.
There you go. You stand here, and and then he, goes to Dizem, and he, shifts Dizem slightly next to you, and then he's like, short, medium, larger, but not large. We need someone bigger now. And he's, doing some weird math in his head. And he's like, where is that big boy Billiam? I need him now. Yonsei! And Yonsei, you hear the call out from 40 feet away, wherever you are. Are you taller or shorter than your cousin?
We
this
are
is important.
Almost exactly the same height for intentional purposes.
Come stand beside him. We must know right now. This is important.
Who's talking?
I am, Smiling Sam.
I think it's okay, actually.
Some mutterings, on the other side of the door.
Come on.
It's okay, Yonsei. I got
We've
you.
all seen you naked. Come on, let's go.
Wow. All right. Yonsei leaves and comes out.
He makes a joke.
I don't want to know when you stop naked.
Yonsei, roll 1d2. 1, you're shorter than Glynis by a hair. 2, you're taller than him by a hair.
This would be unbelievable.
Yes, you are slightly taller.
Ooh.
Glynis, how does it feel knowing your cousin
I am the taller twin.
has more elf in them than you? You must tell me right now.
Honestly, this makes sense to Glynis. Glynis was like a Livistian first, and like realized he was part elf. I don't know, at some point growing up, right? But like he was raised here,
Yes.
and his cousin was raised in the Elflands and then came here, right? Like this seems like proper in some way. I don't know.
Glynis.
That's not how like genetics works, but Glynis doesn't know that.
He doesn't know. Glynis, I remember now, after lining you all up, like ducks in a row. Get it? You were promised as part of a deal by Bryce Bronson, or rather, Sigmu Moth. Sigma? He checks his
Sigmo.
notes. Sigmo.
Sigmo Moth.
Regardless, the demon, previously known as Bryce Bronson, he made a deal with me years ago, century ago, that my people, my children, my family would be safe. For at the fall of the Eldar Protectorate, when those bastard Phoenix-worshipping elves betrayed the Empire, betrayed us, after everything we've done for them, every servant that we did for them, oh, it hurts, Glynis. He holds your heart, not the organ, but he puts a hand on your chest.
I give him the
Oh.
it's okay pats. Like,
No, don't touch me. I need to be the one who touches. I'm
oh,
sorry.
okay, all
You're
right.
not my master
That's
yet. One day, maybe. And he, pats your chest. Like, oh, you have some muscle there. Regardless, I have to leave right now. Would you all like to come to my home?
I would love to one day, but unfortunately, my own home needs looking after at the moment.
How
What
far
if
is your
I-
house from here?
How far?
Sam, how aware
It's a
of current
step
events
away.
are you?
It's
A
quite
step
literally...
away? Yeah, I'll go there.
Yeah, alright, Dyson wants to go. Dyson, my boy. Dyson, he shakes your hand, or claw, or talon, or whatever you have.
I have hands.
Very cool.
When you're
It's far
dragon
from the
tails,
ocean. Snefru, would you like to see mystical magic? Of 7th
on,
level
Snefru.
or higher?
Sneffer,
yes,
come on.
yes. Yes, 7th level, 7th circle. Yes.
Beyonce, there are beautiful people all around it. I promise you, you'll enjoy it. Come to my home.
I'm real
Let us discuss
suspicious.
things there. Outside the ears of Bryce Bronson, bastard that he is. I see you, Bryce! And he, stares off above Glynis's head. You think you're not being stealthy? I have true vision, fucker! Glynis, you're being
Yeah,
spied
I
on.
guess. I shake my head and I say, then.
Bryce has gotten
Okay,
a great look at a lot of things. That I gotta say.
Yes.
I said I cannot stay long, for I am needed here, but I will gladly see your home.
Yes, your people will survive, for now. I will tell you his plans and machinations, unless he comes out of his hole to fight me! And he shouts this challenge, which goes unanswered. Where's your bear boy? We must get him too. Why is he the odd man out?
I think he's in the
He's having
woods.
sex with bears in the woods.
Perhaps we should not bother him then.
Repopulating the bear population.
Let me send to him. Ah! He begins to hit a high octave. And Ursala, in your mind, you hear Smiling Sam's voice. Hey! We're going to my vacation home to talk about the war. Do you want to come? Yes or no? And then he recounts his words and he's like, plus, what do bears feel like? Having never touched a bear. But you take it as sexual, for that is what chances are he meant as well. Ursale, this is a sending spell. A 3rd level spell slaps you in the face. What? How do you respond?
I think. What the fuck? God damn it. Where the fuck are you?
We'll come to you. He sends a second sending spell. Take my hands, gentlemen, and thing. He doesn't identify who's the thing.
I'm a gnome, good sir.
He's just a gnome.
You may
He's just
hop
a gnome.
upon my chest if you wish, Snefru, if you do not wish to hold my hand. You climb upon him, he strokes you like you're a babe.
Like, Yonsei really quick is gonna lean close to Gillian and be like, is this what elves used to be like? What the fuck, man?
Worse,
So?
I am a moderate.
He's a moderate.
Imagine what the
Like they fucking
progressives are like.
lost, man.
Take my
For the
hand,
future.
declare it so, then we shall go.
I take his hand.
These rhymes are subpar.
I'm a servant, not a poet. He teleports you all suddenly. You are all ripped through reality. In a blink of an eye, you stand in the woods. Ursale, behind you. Whoosh, the wind displaces. You turn around. You suddenly see your companions, one of whom is holding onto the neck of Smiling Sam, who's treating him like a child. Dysum hand in one. Glynis and Yonsei's in another one. He looks to you and says, grab my beard. I don't have one, but grab my chin. I forgot I'm clean shaven. You touch him. And again, you are ripped through reality.
Like, Ursula's like huge bare hand just like grabbing the bottom of his face.
He says,
Hope it doesn't have verbal components.
nope, it's just an action for him.
Oh.
Amazing.
As my greater map loads in. One day.
Yonsei's brain is now processing like what life must have been like when the elves were in charge, and
Life was wild. Yeah.
Life was wild back in the First Age. Indeed. When long rests were every 8 hours. When magic was
Amazing.
aplenty. When the circlets of a man's mind could be broken like glass. Let me change the music once more. For you all are taken to a scene. What time of day is it? Is it nighttime? Is it daytime?
I would imagine it's probably sometime in the morning because Smiling Sam like came from the river, so he probably was like there at night and then came and found Yonsei and was like, "Why wasn't the prince out here?"
Let's play this one.
what's this noise? What was this noise?
You all feel horribly displaced and disoriented. You have just traveled, not miles to where Ursale was, but hundreds of miles now. You stare upon a gorgeous river valley. You are high in elevation, so some of you are suffering from shortness of breath, as well as dizziness, not having been acclimated to such an elevation. Snefru, you holding on to this elf's body, suddenly feel like a strong coldness overwhelm you, as his entire body feels frozen for but a moment. As he remembers, right, warmth, and he flexes, and suddenly there is heat again, as if he's like 90-ish degrees. Still below human temperature, but also not as cold. You stand upon a cliff that faces northward, for you see the sunlight cresting over the mountains. It's quite dark, shadowy right now, I suppose. You see great big forests. You see a flowing, weaving river that heads further northeast, downwards, before forking at a different mountain and using some elf sight and your high elevation, you can vaguely see... Is that Njord? Is that No, that's not Rien, you don't think. That's some other place. You're unsure where exactly you are, but you are miles from where you started. Smiling Sam puts down the gnome, who's clinging tightly to him. And then he gestures downwards. Down the cliff, there will be a trail that leads to a small, almost palace, you'd say, or rather several marble-esque, limestone-esque structures that all are connected by great big awnings that are seemingly covered with painted tiles. This place is an elven reserve or a vacation home deep in the mountains. And you see small figures moving towards, or not towards you all, but moving about their day in the early dawn hours. What do you guys do as you take in this sudden displacement, having been teleported?
I think that Glynis is maybe like he's been all business for a really long time at this point, and has been given an opportunity to kind of just like gawk and kind of like wonderment at him for a moment. He feels kind of like perhaps for at least a few moments or minutes here at the like teleportation of the mountain, he's like, oh, this is cool as hell. What is this? What's this? What's this? There's magic in the air. What's this? Right? Like he's just kind of goes he goes like kid mode a little bit, I guess.
Glynis, you turn around, start looking up, and you see that there is a great big rookery or eyrie that is standing alone high upon the mountaintop, which you are sort of in between this palace in terms of elevation. Let me delineate some elevation. Below you is like a palace on another cliffside. You're above that on a separate, smaller cliffside or landing pad. And above you further, following a rocky trail, is a rookery or eyrie, a single strong stone structure, which you can see great big birds circling or roosting upon.
Are they birds or griffins?
They are birds.
Oh.
If you give me a perception check, I can tell you what kind.
I don't know if Glynis is a bird watcher, but I would be happy to try. No, Glynis is no clue.
Every bird's a bird. Birds are spies.
Every bird is a bird.
That's a bat. It's a bird.
It's bats at night and birds at day. These are the things that fly away.
Are you rhyming
now? Yeah, I guess that's cool, right? Like, I guess is Glynis interested in a big bird rookery? I suppose so. I guess he overlooks. I think Glynis looks at that and thinks it's neat and would like check it out. But I think he like walks to the edge of the landing pad, quote unquote, and is like looking down at the palace, because I'm sure the palace has like fountains or like cool gates or like elves doing tree bending or something, right? And I think Glynis thinks this is just really freaking cool. It's like, oh, he's never been out of Livistio, much less to an elven kingdom, much less to like a high elven or like very like old elven, right? This is probably just like Christmas in July, or I guess in our case like March,
April. Close enough. Ursale, what about you? You look at the wilderness beyond the palace. This is untouched, untampered forest, wilds, just below the silly palace, stretching for miles and miles and miles. What do you think of this situation?
So I think the initial reaction is, like, right when he gets there, he's like, what the heck did you just do to me? Because he's feeling out of sorts, right? Discombobulated from the travel.
Still like...
I imagine that this is not Ursale's first time in the mountains. We have those in the wilderness around Livistio as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think he I mean, certainly there's, you instantly get transported to the mountain. That's different than going there gradually by climbing, right? But
Yeah.
I think he can recognize that at the very least. But I think, yeah, his just initial gut reaction is to like try to lift up Smiling Sam by the chin. You're like, what did you do to me?
You feel weak as you touch him. Like, he starts moving your fingers to, like, stroke his chin. Like, it'll be okay, Ursale. Behold, look, that's where your bear mother is. And your eyes swivel to it. Dyson, what are you doing right now? What's your thoughts? Are you still holding onto the hand of Smiling Sam as you get further away from the ocean than you've ever gone before?
Dyson's gonna out in the open say, Glynis, every step I take with you, I get further and further from the ocean.
You sure do, don't you? I'm sorry, I suppose. But look at the wonders that you get to behold.
I wanna ask Sam, is this the top? Top of the world?
Definitely not.
This place is higher than this?
Oh, yes. Some you must use magic to reach the top to. Some are protected by divine entities.
I've seen the bottom. I don't know if I'd like to see the top.
Well, decide that for yourself. Yonsei, Snefru, he looks to you. Did you enjoy the ride?
Where's the fucking house, man?
It's down there, and points to the palace.
Great. Yonsei starts walking.
Yonsei, not in it.
Is on vacation. Going to the woods on a mountain is not vacation. I need a fireplace. I need a rug to lay upon. I need wine.
Would you like beautiful art as well?
I would like to observe it, sure.
Alright, yes, I will lead you down, but first, Snefru.
I need drugs. Do you have those?
Possibly. I'm not sure what the kids are up to these days.
Oh, if you got some crazy elven drugs, I'd like to try those.
Okay.
Yonsei takes drugs from the first age and just is zooted for the next, 2 weeks.
Snefru, what have you?
Snefru is, anytime he's exposed to a higher circle magic, he's trying to comprehend it. So after he fell off the frozen and then suddenly hot Smiling Sam, or SS, the SS Sam, he sits out cross-legged and takes his spell book out and starts writing his observations. It felt like this, and so he just tries to retain the feeling of the teleport for future circles.
Okay. You start descending on a ominous stone path, going further down and down, heading to the palace. It is a bit of a slog or hike, as many of you are somewhat dizzy and disoriented from the sudden change of elevation, but holding onto the cliff-facing handrail, you will make your way down, as John checks his notes. Full structures made of marble, shaped concrete, and painted tiles. We got that. Ooh, you will also see that some of these awnings, these rooftops, have been lined with a layer of foliage that has, like Glynis expected, been tree-shaped in a way to provide extra shade for those underneath of it. We got the eerie... Ooh, very cool. As you begin to descend, holding on to the cliff face, you will see that even up here, the artistry of those who, live down below has made its way up to the quote-unquote landing pad, clearly meant for teleportations. You will see painted murals all along it, depicting all sorts of moments of history. You will see great heroes facing off against draconic/humanoid forms, undoubtedly depicting the first war to ever exist between Tiamat and all of the civilized gods. You will see other sorts of imagery as well, not just wars, but...
We pass by Tiamat real quick, and Glennis, like, looks a little cautiously at Dizem, like, does he recognize this? Trying to hide it, but probably not succeeding.
Dizem, you do see draconics, but even though you are a dragonborn, you might not feel as though you are part of that species. I will let you decide how you feel about that, obviously, but indeed, you see the painted chromatic, the metallic ones having sided with the gods at one point to seal away the great destroyer known as Tiamat. You will also see heroes and historical figures, both in the romantic sense, but also of a very, like, human sense, where it's like, okay, I recognize this crown is like shaped as it has been described of a certain human kingdom way back when, during the Second Age. And you're like, see, maybe Yancey's the only person who can truly appreciate some of these, having been the only one of you to go to college. Snefru having been to the School of Hard Knocks, or, you know, Firebolts, whatever he wants to call wizard school, but... No, I'd say this is... You're like walking down a cliffside of just all of the world's history that you know. It is quite something. You see dwarven lords who are standing regally. You are seeing conniving halflings hiding daggers behind their backs while offering gold to the taller folk. You see gnomes with their hands raised to the sky, seemingly materializing starlight into the shapes of treasures and weapons and other sorts of cool items. You see one birdman, only one, which is weird. He's just sort of standing alone awkwardly in the side, but there's a bird guy there. Who knows what his deal is.
Is there a bird guy on the trail, like standing awkwardly alone? Or is it a bird guy in the mural?
It's part of the mural. Okay. You also see demons in demonic forms that are marching at first with, like, beautiful armor, standing beside humanoid allies against monsters of Tiamat, with great big spear formations and bows out. And then, as you, like, watch the humans back, and now they're in more like a dominating, almost masterly position, as the demons continue to march forward against the onslaught of monsters, the mural will crack and break, and you are suddenly faced with just unworked stone. It seems that someone has broken part of the tapestry of time before you, but you make your way down to the palace.
Can I ask Sam if anyone has ever tried mending this?
Oh no, the stone itself was broken and then shoveled off to the side. We'd have to collect every single original piece and then begin the mending process. I don't know who broke it. It's kind of weird, now that I'm looking at it. And he, like, takes a jab at the wall. It's like, yeah, that feels right.
Okay.
Maybe I did that. You guys descend into the beautiful palace where somehow, whether an alarm spell went off on the teleportation pad itself, or just because they heard you guys coming through echoes of conversation, you will see a group of people having been assembled since your arrival, since your downward journey. You will see many a robed elven figure of varying ages. However, most of them appear to be quite older than even Rienne, your aunt, from several sessions ago now. Despite their considerable looking age, you don't feel the power you do from Sam or Rian. He seemed to just be the barely magical or semi-magical elves, more so than the, you know, highly magical, I'm a warrior of great time, yes. I'm a 17th level character. Instead, these are very much like we are commoners, or the equivalent of just of higher society. You will also see that they are predominantly dark elves. Their skin is like states of bruising, as if someone took a great big sack of oranges and just beat them head to heel with them.
Oh, jeez.
Many of them are clearly like suffering from some sort of blindness too, with many wearing blindfolds, but those who aren't are wincing, and you can see behind their eyelids just a pure black field. And although they're wincing, they have still come to see you all in the early morning.
Does the black field remind me of the, like, you described the demons that we saw, or that I guess I saw when I went to the castle to talk to Sigmalath, as having eyes that had seen the death of a star? Is this, like, similar?
They don't have irises or pupils. It's like a pupil has been expanded outward entirely. This is more like an inky well rather than a void. Which isn't surprising to any of you, for dark elves are photosensitive or suffer from sunlight sensitivity. And they
so these are like... okay, understood.
Yep.
These are like drow equivalents of ancient times.
They are.
Cool.
They look somewhat pained as you all arrive. And one of them, the eldest amongst them, who is using a great big cane staff to sort of support herself, calls out to you all in a hunched over, almost head tilted upwardly, bowed position, and calls out to you, Sam, who are these people? What have you brought? And he quickly goes over to her and like bows his head in a very devotional way and says, Mistress Kaelin, I bring to you those who have freed my mind of the shadow of Sigmumoth. And her eyes sort of widen at this, and she turns to, you're heroes then. Or healers, or a ragtag bunch of...
You're a combination of both.
Perhaps one day I will feel more adequately earning of the title hero.
Definitely a hero. In fact, a prince.
He's a prince.
Yes, I am Prince Glennis Marchette of Livistio, a small human nation in the north. I look at Sam like, I don't know where we are. But then I'm like, this is... And I introduce my companions. I'm like, this is a healer, right? This is the healer of glaucoma. And like... This
going
is
down the history books for that one.
This is the mighty, like, war mage that is...
grabber of demons.
Grabber of demons.
I said a euphemism, young man.
Yeah, right? I was thinking that too.
It's quite literal, actually. It happened in a fight with them over a well. A story for another time. This is the mighty, paladin of the bear. A devotee of great and immeasurable strength, and my cousin, the wittiest writer and sharpest mind I have.
I see.
Hi.
As you are introducing yourselves, you're scanning the crowd, and you're beginning to realize that the minority group, the people who aren't these drow-like figures, or dark elves, as we call them, really, they have a different name entirely. But it doesn't matter. We'll get into that later. You see that amongst the faces, there are some clear-eyed, tall... Everybody's robed, since it's so cold up here, in these great big heavy garments. But how do we describe them? Some have blonde hair, others have like dark hair, much like the others around you, and some of them you see are sprouted horns, like the tieflings that you are aware of. Tieflings aren't strange, I suppose, to anyone's societies, but there are, like, they are the second greatest group here, and you're beginning to recognize that, like, oh, okay.
I'm so bummed Felix couldn't make it.
Yeah.
It would have been cool.
You see Felix. No, I'm kidding. It was brought here.
This is where Felix has been hanging out.
Sam kidnapped him weeks ago. Like, you shall help. It's like, what? And just yoinked. We miss you, Jeff. Alright. You see these half-elven, half-tieflings, or I suppose half-elven tieflings. That's the proper term. Much like how there are human tieflings, or... God, a dwarf tiefling. That'd be sick as shit. Regardless, this is the second group, and they seem to be of a much younger generation. And although they are, like, helping people, it seems more like the next generation helping the older generation, rather than, like, master-servant relationships. Like, there are clear familial resemblances and almost family groups here. This woman, who is named Caitlin Aliro, will greet you all. It's like, well, you have healed my best friend and loyal servant, Sam, I believe you still go by, yes? And he nods his head. He's like, we'll continue to call you that then. Please, come to our, I guess, gathering hall, and we shall speak and discuss a reward of some kind for you. We have to have something to have you return with.
Thank you for your generosity. I'm hoping to have some answers myself.
Yes, go.
I guess I'll follow them in.
She'll start walking, but at one point, Smiling Sam will just quickly and quietly, like, scoop this older woman up and begin to, like, walk with her, acting as a mobility scooter. You'll be taken in past this crowd of people. There's maybe 40 or 50 of them in total, that just sort of watch you by with curious eyes. And one of them clearly calls out, that one's a gnome. We've never seen a gnome before. That's sick as shit. Like, that's a dragon.
Elbow Snefferu, I'm like, you're a celebrity.
And one of them points to Ursala and is like, that's a werebear. Isn't that cool?
We need to help him. He's lycanthropic.
We need to get her some silver tongue or whatever it's called. And they will take you to a very, what do you call it? Spacious, open-aired, natural, illuminated... Well, I guess it wouldn't be that naturally illuminated right now. It's the early morning. They'll throw up some dancing lights so that you will have greater illumination than these people need. And have you sit around a great big table where food and drink and other breakfast items had been left, and they'll re-up on everything for you and have you be serenaded by an actual singer singing elven songs, playing on a fucking harp, like, just in the background. Like, one of them's like, will you tone it down? This isn't practice. No, we must serenade him. That is what our elven host wishes. And Smiling Sam goes over and picks up a pan flute and begins to play as well, just for fun, as Kaylin Aliro will be seated at the head of the table, for she is the matriarch of Glinsa, which is what this sanctum is called. After everyone has food and drink in them or in front of them, she will... Please, stop with the harpsichord, for the love of goodness. Tasha, stop. Stop it! And once the silence comes, she will speak to you all of like, my Sam has been suffering the brain fog for over a century. You do not know how my gratitude for what you have done.
I must admit my aims were not so benevolent. I was hoping that he could be helpful in the conflict that has arisen between my kingdom and, unfortunately, demons. But I am happy that he can return to you. It is a happy blessing.
It is. What? You say demons, and he has said Sigmuma several times. Do you know what kind of demon?
I fear I know little of their kind.
Do you know his master?
Give a physical description.
Yeah, I do know the name of the master. He said as much to myself. He named his master Mephistopheles, and he looked like, the goat hooves and the big belly and the horns and the eyes, and I describe his minions.
Yeah,
it's really important for a scene in the play.
I know of this demon. I knew not his name. He went by a different moniker during our time. Forgive me, I should tell you, I am one of the surviving people of the protectorate of the Eldari nation. It is our people's fault that your kingdoms are in such disrepair and warring times.
I know little of that age, but it is an honor to meet you nonetheless.
We, like every kingdom, like every spellcaster in a way, utilized devils to do menial tasks and other such things. We made contract with them, and for that reason, the Sindari, those who worship the great phoenix Sindar, cursed us and brought cataclysm to this continent. They shattered our city and turned us into these wretched forms, where we cannot stand the light of day. Not to earn your pity, for we did err in several ways, but at this point there are none left, save for the generation that followed the original ne'er-do-wells. I forget myself. Sigmund. What a... Mephistopheles. Yes. The honest liar, I believe he was called by the demonologists. He is a tricky sort. All of his creatures are both loyal and treasonous at the same time. How has this infiltration of this creature, how did this come to be?
I cannot speak for certain of how it started, but my father has an advisor by the name of Bryce. By the name of Sigmalath, but he was known as Bryce Bronson to me, a creature of darkness posing as his friend. and infiltrated the court.
Pretty sure Bryce Bronson is real.
I think he might have been, but I don't know. But yes, I'm sorry, I ramble. It is a flaw of mine, working on it.
It's all elves, don't worry.
Oh, good to know it's genetic. My grandfather wielded a blade. It is known to be one that contained a spirit or some entity and granted him great power. It was lost in the forming of the kingdom, or perhaps more accurately, it was lost in a battle with paladins during the earlier years of the kingdom.
She, like, snaps her hand to, like, one of the younger folk. Get me the big book of blades. Let's see if we have record of it.
It was
Great
lost,
literature.
but my father, I think, he acted much like he did not covet it, but I have learned in recent times, it seems to me, I think he must have, for he wields a replica now, and treats it as his own personal idol of some kind. I believe it to be given to him by this demon, this Bryce Bronson. Perhaps it was this weakness that allowed Sigmalath to enter into the court and begin to weave its influence. But now it seems that the creature wishes to bring armies of demons, of these soulless, eyeless creatures that to do what I know not, but I've had a vision of flaming ozone and armies of these creatures wandering raising the streets of my kingdom. We fought some in a well, I described that, and they tried to offer a deal to myself, one in exchange for power. I tried to cut the demon down, or more accurately, imprison it with key, which earned me a kick to the throat. It wasn't as effective as I hoped, but
You must
it has
avoid
led me to
interacting with the demon on a spiritual level. Young man, they will corrupt you. That is how... It is lucky he kicked you in the throat and broke any connection you might have made with his master.
fair. Perhaps I've been known to be slightly impulsive, from time to time.
Another elf trait, yes.
Oh. And it has led me, knowing the ways in which their powers intertwine with the mind, I thought perhaps, knowing what I know of elves, that Sam may have been influenced by them. I sought to alleviate that influence, perhaps to find an ally against them. And here we are.
She nods her head. A great book doth arrive, a several thousand-page tome that's like the size of your chest, and like it takes two people to carry it in, and they put it down, and they'll like start going through it and be like, "Does this look like it? Demon soul? You said it was black." Just to go over the traits of it. It is good that you did reject this pact. Demons, the fiends, the devils, they have a terrible grudge against us all, I suppose. Their tale is pitiable, to say the least. I would like to help you, if I can. Smiling Sam, though, might have a poor matchup against the creature that bewitched him the first time. For it's just insane to me, honestly, how not even a single paladin managed to sniff out the Fiend? Do you not have paladins in your court?
It seems that our
Predominantly like bear orientated religion. So
Druids.
Yes. Primal
Yeah.
god worship does not make for good paladins, unfortunately. Great barbarians, though. Truly.
real sexy.
I'm not allowed to comment. But
Hey, what did you just call me?
nothing.
Listen,
That's
Bear
rude.
Daddy, if I could write a book about you, it'd sell so much with the wives, you have no idea.
Well. How might we assist you? I do not wish to ramble, as it were. In my older age, I can get quite talkative and chatty. So I'm trying to hold my tongue as much as possible.
Well, perhaps my companions know a way better than I. I seem to have come to an impasse slightly. I need either I am currently in need of sieging my own castle, as it has been locked to me by this demon and his host. I need access to it. I need some way in which to repel, defeat, or otherwise dispel, contain this demon and his forces. Currently seem to lack both of these things, though I know not exactly how I might obtain them myself, short of recovering my grandfather's blade and wielding it against the demons. What say you, companions? What aid could we possibly request from these elders?
Yeah, I mean, a solution to demons would be nice. I mean, the whole Neordian thing, like, that's absolutely on us. That is absolutely not. That's, that's an us problem.
Agreed.
Demons, though, that's a rough one. That's one that I think we don't have expertise in and need help with.
Yes,
'Cause
mundane
as we
weapons
said,
seem to
yeah, we
do
really like
little.
bears. Not enough people around that can handle demons, unless it was to kill a demon with a bear.
Bears suffer a poor matchup against demons as well.
I mean, if you can make the bears really good at killing demons, that'd be really cool if there was a way to
Give
do
them
that.
magical claws.
You could silver their claws. I don't know if you wish to.
Where's
Sorry,
Winnie?
he's thinking on it.
Hurt the animal.
Manicures and pedicures for the bears. Silver.
The only way to kill a demon, truly, is to first banish it, then follow it to its realm, and then kill it there, which is often a laborious and pointless process. For their masters tend to revive them with their silly little magics. You could seal it away here in a cage or a ruby, imprisoning it. You could teleport it to the bottom of the ocean and have the pressure therein kill it and dissolve it, but then it will just manifest into the same thing, and you will likely die as well, unless one of you is used to such pressures of the ocean. She eyes the octopus dragon in front of her. But regardless, it is a permanent solution. Well, if we had a permanent solution, they wouldn't be a problem, really. There are stronger nations than even the Eldar Protectorate who still suffer from them.
Perhaps if we had a way to banish them back to their realm, or to cut off their influence over ourselves.
That'd be pretty good.
It seems like they've made contract with the king. If there was a way to break said contract and banish them, that would be ideal. To
Possibly.
save His Highness.
Hmm.
I
In
know
my mind, I've
not.
drawn a big X over him, like he's already dead.
Your father, the king, do you know why he made this deal with them?
He's dumb.
I have not been privy to much of his mind, though I have been told from an old manservant, Argyle, practically raised me, that my father is a warmonger at heart. It is thought that my grandfather was a warmonger as well, but he lost his blade. I wonder if my father played at peace but desired to fight. It was this desire that drew the demon, gave him his blade. But I am only speculating. I could not know for sure.
He's a fucking cup.
What? What insult did you just hurl?
She called him a... Which means...
Are the elves unfamiliar with the idea of cuckoldry?
It is mostly a human thing.
Yeah, I'm about to introduce a cultural phenomenon into this palace
Well,
that has not been in
so
touch with
long,
regular
you know?
civilization for many years.
We don't really
We saw-
view marriage or sexuality the same way as you humans do.
Oh my god, they just have big orgies all the time. Can I
We
stay
don't
here, please?
have them all the time, okay?
Most of the time. Can I stay here, Glenn?
I'm just saying.
We saw
what
the chair in the
you all
corner
would
and assumed.
consider a bastard, we would consider a child of passion. You know?
This is
Marriage
amazing.
is such a boring instant. No, she goes on this tangent for like 30 minutes of like.
Glennis is like, I feel so relieved. It isn't just me.
Amazing stuff.
He's like, my mom was always so goddamn quiet. I thought I was weird. No! She was the weird one all along.
I got lost.
born in the
I'm
wrong
not gonna
age,
lie,
man.
Guys. John got lost in what we were talking about. What were we on about? Demon problems, solutions.
Yeah, before the cuckolding, we were talking about how, in fact, the king was overcome by demons, to which my suggestion was cuckolding.
You know, humans have fallen for the succubi trick 1 or 2 times before. The humans are incredibly weak-willed. That's why they needed to be protected. Much like the gnomes and how inferior they are to anything physical at all. There was
Is
a
your
reason
Sally a
why
human?
our protectorate was so... she goes on a different tirade
Yeah,
about elven
he's the only one to be
supremacy.
offended by this. Everyone else is just like, yeah.
Only the Dragonborn
Humans, man.
were our equal. Oh, truly. Regardless, perhaps we have a scroll of banishment lying around.
Oh, that'd
But
be great.
if there are multiple demons, or if your father is just going to anchor the creature, then you would not deal with the root cause of the problem.
Well, you
So we
see, if you have a problem that keeps coming back, you can deal with the root cause, or you can just constantly keep cleaning up the problem.
Yes.
So it sounds... it sounds like
There's
we must
cell
find...
of mass murder.
I feel like we probably don't want that one.
No?
The unintended consequences feel too high.
Listen, no one has to know. We can clean it up.
I can only guess at my father's anchor. I'm sure you know what my guess is. Is there a way I can know for sure?
Sure of what? I'm so sorry. I skipped a word or two.
Sure of the anchor. For if we were to banish the demon and only to have it return, it would, I don't know, be a losing cause. Is there a way to know for sure what keeps it anchored here?
We
It
banish
would
your dad
relate
and
to
the
the
demon.
pact that the one who summoned him had made. Though, to that point, I assume your father is not over a century old, no?
No.
Yeah.
Then on a timeline, this demon bewitched my friend, and she gestures to Sam, a century ago. He is strong-willed and whatnot, and likely managed to escape several times from that clutch, but we were never able to break the ensorcelment until you all arrived, or until you all dealt with the problem on a DC 30 check. The pact that first spawned this demon will need to be discovered. The contract that it signed to, assumedly, if not your father, then an ancestor of yours. You'll need to know the details of it.
See.
You could banish him and kill your father. That might do the trick, but it might not stop him from coming back. If the contract is sourced by blood, or if the original words are so-and-so in my family line will serve Mephistopheles, or the demon Sigmamoth, then if you kill your father, you might make yourself a slave to demons, which I don't think is something you want.
Then we must find the source of the contract. Which I think may lie beneath a swamp.
Yeah, I was gonna say the sword might be really helpful in this point. I was also gonna say, Gilly, if I have to kill you, I will.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then
Just
I'll
parry
take
you.
your face, and I'll do a great job. Don't worry about it.
We have been practicing that quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's good to know you
It
have
seems
a
to me
backup plan.
that with this in mind, it's very important that we keep your father safe. With them in the clutches of the demons,
How
You
long would it take for the demon to return should we banish it without finding the anchor of the pact? Would it buy us
Month, a
any amount
year?
of time to deal with that?
I'm not sure, in all truth.
Could you get us as close to the sword as possible?
I don't know the sword, no, but
We gave you like
assumedly
a
Smiling Sam
pointed on a
can
map.
help. He's the one who has access to the teleport spell. I don't. But
Sam.
you turn to Sam, who's playing his heart out with this pan flute. Just going to town on
Harpsichord stopped, but the pan flute never did.
do, 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 do. Just, everyone's blown away by his bardic ability. Yonsei, you found a new master of instruments.
Fantastic. Now, if only he was a master of really good puns.
She nods her head. If you know the sword's location, and she looks to the people who are like distracting Glynis every few seconds, like, is this the sword? Is this the sword? Is this the sword? Going over it.
I tell her that I had seen, or I had dreamed a true dream of its location. It lies in a swamp at the edge of our kingdom, or in a bog. I also tell her that perhaps I don't know. I did dream a dream of it. Perhaps I gave as best a rendition of it as I can. Artist though. Well, you know what? Low key. I am proficient in calligraphy tools.
Oh! Let's do a calligraphy tools check.
Okay.
Make a dex
That
based,
skill's coming
because
back.
It's all about
Alright.
hand motion, right?
Yeah.
Once upon a time, little Gilly was being slapped on the palm by someone with a ruler trying to learn how to do an N correctly.
Bro, I'm trying to teach
With a
my
calligraphy
nephew how to do
pen.
a B.
Oh no! I rolled an 8.
It's like
It's not a
You
great.
failed
two
all those
parallel
lessons.
lines with like a triangle wedge and then like a little square line there and a oh yes, the letter for sword. Jeez.
I make one of those embellishments at the top of the book. Like, it's like a big T, but it looks like a sword.
Let's go back to the book. One of them says.
So it's like one of Snefru's emoji things.
Don't spread the secret. I'm still working on that.
Really excited for this.
Well, we will help you as you are my friend's benefactors. You won't go this alone, as it were, even if we cannot walk you there.
Then I thank you for that. You have given us much to think about. Perhaps there's some way to win this conflict.
Without murder. But if
Dyson,
necessary,
Ursale,
murder.
is there anything you wish to speak of not related to the demons? Because these people are willing to let you stay here, effectively until you figured out a plan, in actual comfort and not in a broken city that was half on fire a few days ago.
Or until we finish our long rest.
Exactly. Unobstructed by demonic and/or assassination attempts on your lives.
I'm just like looking at Smiling Sam. Just like, where'd you say the bear mother was?
Down there in that cave that looks ominous and foreboding.
Oh, that's a great point. Is it possible to go there? Could I entreat the mother?
I would definitely let your companions take a long rest before going down there.
Okay.
A good long rest. Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in there. My brain blast. Take it away.
Yes, I believe his name was Alferos, who went to beseech her once, and he never returned. Do you know of this human hero, Alferos?
Very familiar with the river. Almost drowned. Twice.
Yes, they named a river out of him. Because his lost expedition for divinity discovered.
Oh, is this the one where the what's-his-name's dad was part of?
That's Sigus.
Yeah, but was there not an Alferus on the
Sigus,
group?
yes! Smiling Sam boldly declares, Sigus was a hero of the North. Truly a legend.
Does Yancey know Alferus? Yancey knows lots of stories.
Yeah, give me a history
Galtheros
check.
River.
We still with disadvantage because I'm exhausted. Still,
Oof.
because no one lets me sleep.
Alright, 21's pretty good though.
21.
You know Alferos, yeah. He is he was effectively like a Conan the Barbarian of the world when the Eldar Protectorate fell. He went around and effectively robbed, stole, and explored from all the pre-kingdom era. And then when he heard about a bear god and like an actual place to go to, he found this river, which was named after him. He went up it, and then he disappeared.
Yeah.
Well-
Depending on who tells the story, if they're really into bears, they said the bears were really upset that he tried to steal their food and they killed him.
A lot of bears.
If you really don't like bears, then he killed a bear but then died from his injuries. There's also my favorite version that we tell him on the Bard College, which is that he realized that he loves bears, and now he just is a bear, just hanging out in the woods.
I mean, if it truly was a quest for divinity, one of two things likely happened. He
Oh,
went and
please tell me
asked the
they're dead.
divine for divinity, and that divine ate him.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Either
the first
that,
option.
or
I
he
said that,
asked
yeah.
the divine for divinity, and he became a
Uh-huh.
god.
That's the third one. Yeah, we're on the same page.
Those are, and maybe he's out there somewhere, turned into a bear, you know?
Yeah, exactly. See? We think the same. About most things.
Didn't you know that all bears are just minor divines?
You know,
These
someone
propaganda
to
Slater.
me once, but I have seen a bear like scratch its ass on a tree, so I don't know about that one.
Dizem! I don't know how interested you are of these elven creatures, but they apparently have all sorts of knowledge from ancient days before humans effectively ruled this subcontinent. Are you interested in any of this?
I guess what Dizem would most be curious about. Dizem has like a lot to think on for himself right now. So I guess not at the moment.
Then why don't you all have a long rest mechanical thing with a snap of the fingers? John moves us a bit ahead of our calendar. You only needed
Aw,
3
thank fuck.
more. What was that?
Thank fuck.
Yeah, right.
Get all my spells back.
You know, the god of
Either
long
way,
rest.
Anyone could have killed me at this point. Like I was a paper towel in the wind. I was.
John, it's been so long since we've done a long rest. Can you remind me of the long rest rules we have in this campaign?
You get all of... Well, it's just the long rest rules. Excuse me.
I think there's, like, you get, like, half your hit dice, is that right?
That is how long rest usually works. Let me check real quick.
Rounded.
So, first of all, you get rid of 1 level of exhaustion. So, anyone who was exhausted no longer is. Congratulations. It's 1 level. Blah, blah, blah. You regain all lost hit points if you had any. You get rid of any sort of disabilitating effects, such as, what do you call them? That specifically call out the long rest rule. You get up to a number of hit dice equal to half of your character's total number of hit dice for a minimum of 1. We round up for this as well, so if you had 9, you would gain 5. If you had 8, you would gain 4, and so on and so forth. And that's it. You get spell slots. You get all your resources back that are dependent on long rest. For monks, fighters, they don't really give a shit unless they are exhausted. But for clerics, you get your spell slots back. Bards, you get your spell slots back. Staffer, all of them come back at once rather than taking several short rests. And you get your rages back, Mr. Barbarian. Monks get key points on short rest, so who gives a shit?
Well, I mean, I was down to 2 hit dice, right? So my 2.5 hit dice give me back full hit dice, so it is
Huge.
nice.
That's huge. Huge, huge, huge. Long rests are super important, guys. We love them. We need them. And in this time, we are going to meet a character who will effectively take you down to the Force themselves. To the entrance of the Bear Mother's domain, if that is where we are choosing to go next session. I'm seeing one nodding head, Yonsei is nodding, Snafu is nodding. Dizem, meet a new goddess? Question mark.
I'm steadfast in my faith.
Well,
I'll
you're
tie
gonna
you
meet
along.
one no matter what then. Glynis, it seems like everyone's in agreement. Let's go talk with the bear mommy. And then seek
Yeah,
out...
Go fuck a bear.
I think that Glynis has met the Bear Mother once before, and has successfully asked it to help. I think Greg wants to talk to John about what that might look like next session, but Glynis is interested in entreating with the goddess, for sure.
Then that is where we will aim for next time. However, I love ending on cliffhangers, which is what I'm going to do now. As Smiling Sam will introduce you to his granddaughter, who will take you down the hidden paths to the forest below into the veil that this palace sits over.
Does his granddaughter have a missing ring that she gave to a certain tiefling?
Maybe. You
Okay.
will indeed. God damn it, Greg! You stole my thunder. Meet with
I
the
thought
real
so. Okay.
Sephrin Malrote, the tiefling elven woman whose image was stolen, who was
Oh.
effectively an additional layer of trickery to Smiling Sam, and why he was so protective of her. But as we get to meet Sephrin, the real one, next week, let's do reputation, guys! Oh, and I will calculate
Well, that
experience.
means Sam's name is Malrot. What did we learn of the Malrots? But I'm gonna have to look at my notes from way back.
Experience. Guys, please go around the table and talk about how much you have growthed up this session.
Growthed up. I think Dizem growthed up a lot with the cauldron therapy.
Did you, Dizem? Did you growth up with their cauldron therapy?
How many times do I have to roll like nat ones in low numbers before dice gods favor me, John?
You know, you're gonna reach the ocean one day, and it's gonna be a 20. You know it's gonna happen, bro.
That's gonna be. I'm gonna like roll a 20 before that, get to the ocean, roll a nat one. Just that's it.
Just a tidal wave just
Listen,
scoops you out.
You
to
say
sea.
it yourself. The ocean is fickle, alright? It comes and goes.
Yeah. It was like Dyson will be there
Yeah.
and then disappear
Unlike
underneath the
bears,
wave.
bears are loyal.
Yeah, unlike bears.
Consistent.
Or magic.
No, bears disappear every winter. No one
Or
knows where
drugs.
they go. They just kind of like magically disappear. I think they go to the moon for a while and they come back.
What?
But is your cauldron therapy ambitious or loyalty to your god?
Well, I thought our loyalty was like for the nation of Livistio.
True.
So it would have to be ambitious,
Where's our
as
self-care
I'm more going towards
reputation?
my goddess.
Can we be known as just like a really centered, healthy person? Or do we just...
No, there
Weirdly
are none
enough,
of those
you
don't-
dragons.
You don't read very many like chivalric tales of the self like centered, like very like aware and healthy person
Very,
with good
maybe not
relationships.
back in the day, alright? We are modern folk. Treat yourself. That's the motto.
But I still want to hear anyone who claims they get a point of reputation. Anyone.
I think that I want to give loyalty to Dizem because I dragged him out of his therapy sessions and said, come heal this person who is ostensibly our enemy with very little like lead up, right? And then he was like, yeah, sure, let me drop my highest level spell on this and make this happen. So I think that was a loyal move.
It's really nice of you to do that, guys.
Dyson, that was very kind of you. Go ahead and take a point of loyalty or subservience if you would like. Your choice.
I'm a man of the people.
Base. Ain't true. Ursali, do you get anything?
Do I lose a point of loyalty for seeing shit go down in the city and just being like, nah, fuck it?
Yeah, for sure.
You didn't just kind of like leave and tell no one where you went.
Yeah. You disappear.
Which, like,
That's
I
what you do. You're
On a
not that
level, I
loyal.
respect it.
He was being
also,
bear daddy.
Listen, I never agreed to work for the prince. I was just working with the prince.
Very fair.
I didn't sign any
Damn.
contracts. I just pull up, and I'm still here.
Guys, does Glynis get anything?
Ambition for sure. Marching up to Killigan and being like, "Hey, I'm gonna take your boats. I'm gonna take your men. Nothing you could do about it. Challenge me."
Yeah, Killian didn't even try to challenge him back. He gave
No,
up.
it didn't really
Pretty
work.
ambitious.
I think the overall, like, by himself, the overall performance without the entourage and the slap in the ass was more like a fly kind of buzzing at a really upset, like, fish, you know, or something.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
What
like,
is
I'll
a
eat you,
fly?
motherfucker, get out of here.
I was
But fishing flies.
pretty hopeful that he because the very
He's fly
first
fishing.
words he ever said to me were, "Are you here to make me kneel like your father?" And I was like, Glynis was like, "Glynis will remember this," and I was like, "Okay." And at the time I said, "Not today," and then I showed up and I was like, "Today's the day," and he was like, "No, it's not."
No, it's not. Yeah. Maybe in the future. Talk to me when your dad's dead.
If there were, nah, I don't think so. I paid off a lot of things that I have done previously, right? Like I gave Smiling Sam a note and tried to make an ally out of an enemy, right? And I paid that off, and I paid off the Killigan thing. I got people out of that, right? I didn't really do anything that I hadn't set up already.
Yeah. You got a lot of
You were a
payoffs
boss-ass
today.
bitch.
But I don't think that it's intrinsically changing of your character. What about Yonsei though? Yonsei, do you get anything?
Absolutely not.
You don't think so?
No. I felt similar to Yonsei being awoken from a student during what is it, spring break, and having to in the middle of that handle some sort of family emergency, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, oh god, cousin, I really don't think I can do this right now.
Yeah. I get
You want me to slap your ass? I can do that. That's
What about
my
you,
hands are
Steph?
sore from other things, but I got one in me.
Snefru was not very ambitious, loyal, servile, or honorable this session.
I will
So I don't
say
think I get.
that Snefru did stop everything he was doing and help Daizum go through some internal stuff.
Take a point of friendship between you guys. Daizum and
Oh.
Snefru. They
I
get
would
plus-
consider Snefru one of Daizum's best friends at this point. He's up
I
there.
think
Aw.
Snefru has just made a lot of friends in the party. I think he should have a trait of friendship somehow.
He's the
I was
glue
gonna put that
holds
as
you
brown
together.
nosing. 1 point brown nosing.
It's a survival strategy, let's be real.
Yeah, it is a very internal trait. It's not really something he gives to other people. Other people see him and they mostly just see the hat, you know.
That's a height difference.
That's the joke. Laugh.
It's also a symbolic thing, right? You look at a wizard and all you see is the hat because it's the symbol of their power. Right? It is a double entendre. It's very. I enjoyed it. I
Good
appreciated
job, Pen. You should take 1 point of wordplay. There you go.
it.
Alrighty, then everybody, you are gonna get a lot of experience this week. You might be thinking, why? Why, John? Why do we get a lot of experience this week? More so than the
Defeat
combat
God?
last week, even. It's
We defeated a
because
very powerful foe.
You defeated a very powerful foe! You turned a foe into a friend. As you have freed Smiling Sam's mental enslavement of Bryce Bronson. Everybody, please take home 1,500 experience points flat for completing the Smiling Sam plotline, developing your quest with several NPCs, as well as the sword, and of course, your outstanding roleplay, which I still
I'm
reward
just
you
really
for.
crazy. I'm really excited to I don't know if we get to hang out with these elves again, but that'd be really fun.
I have 2 points of order. 1, does anything happen when I hit loyalty 0?
Oh boy.
Maybe.
Are you at 0 loyalty?
Yes.
Oh no.
Okay.
We'll find out next week.
Yep.
And 2, that puts me at level 6. Woo!
Hey, nice.
All
I'm
it
so
took was
close.
being a kind of a bastard.
I'm so close. I'm
I'm
100.
Riding the
580.
coattails of the
I'm 114 away.
584 points away.
What is it? It's 14k. Yeah, I still got a bit.
It's 14th. I thought it was 15.
I think it says.
No, it's
I don't know.
14,000.
It's 14,000.
Oh, it's 14. I'm very close then.
Very cool. Hopefully next time we will get it. Everybody, any shoutouts we want to make before we head on out?
Shout out to Smiling Sam. He was a real one through and through. Said it from the start. I love that guy.
You did actually.
Yeah.
He's a ride or die, and you know what? It's back. It's full circle.
Full circle, baby.
Shout
I
out to
was right.
Dyson's insight.
I placed my bet on him to win that fight. He won. I made a deal with him that if he ever wanted me to kill him, I would. Always be there for him.
Anybody else have anything they want to say? Or can I wrap
Shout
this
out to
up?
Billiam. Hope he doesn't die before I get a chance to see him again. Sorry for leaving you in a war zone. But it'll be really tragic when I come back and he died. I can cry. I don't know, for like a generic tombstone, or a mass grave,
Jesus.
and then write about it. Yeah.
You can pay some money if we go to the cemetery.
Story.
Good story fuel. Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you.
X's and O's billion.
On
Yeah.
his gravestone, I did it for Yonce.
Amazing. Yeah, and then I can point people to there, like, oh, I know the story is true. You want to know why? Because it says it right in the tombstone.
All right, we're gonna head
You're just
on
getting
out.
him killed.
You all have a lovely afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you are. And as always, don't die. Ooh, ominous.